All right, everyone. Welcome to the Stockton Holistic Chamber of Commerce podcast. I'm Austin McLeod, and today I have Jennifer Bond from HeartShine Alchemy with us today. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing so good. So excited to be here with you.
Awesome. So you're my first guest.
Woohoo! Yes.
I'm real excited to get this going and get this launched and get the word out about the Stockton Holistic Chamber of Commerce and then also about our members. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about why you joined the Stockton Holistic Chamber?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm so grateful to you and Shelly for creating this space for us to gather in Stockton for all of us entrepreneurs and business owners in Stockton in the holistic realm. I think is so cool. I did not even know that something like this existed in Stockton, let alone anywhere. I had never heard of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce before. So when my friend Anna had reached out to me and let me know that you guys were starting this, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect time in my business where I'm really wanting to move things forward and to be around other business owners and be able to just talk with everyone and network with everyone and all of the collaboration that's happening and just like that, just so you aren't, I don't feel like I'm in it alone. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, it just feels like you're in your office, you're doing your own thing and you're doing it by yourself. So it feels good to be in community with other people in my local area and being in person and just getting to talk about all the things. So yeah.
Nice. I feel we just started in the end of June 2024, and today it's literally 3 months to the day of getting started, right? We got started on June 26th, and it's September 23rd. We already have 21 members. Yeah, in the
Amazing.
Stockton Holistic Chamber. We got people in Stockton, Galt, Livermore, Sacramento, surrounding area. Like it's growing pretty quick and people want to be with each other. And I've even seen people already meeting with people outside of our meetings. So that's been really cool to see too.
Yeah, it's so fun and I think it's so cool to see all of the businesses that are out there that I didn't even know existed either. I think so much has moved to the online space where I wasn't, at least for me, I wasn't really tapping into my local community. So I just didn't even know that there were other business owners doing similar stuff in the holistic health arena, like that I could meet up with for coffee or meet up with for tea or whatever and just talk about things. So it's been really cool to see all of the different amazing businesses that we have in our local area too and surrounding areas. That I didn't even know was a thing either. So being able to promote and refer and really collaborate with each other has been so fun so far.
Yeah, like even our last meeting at Tuliberg Press downtown,
Mhm.
who knew something like that was in Stockton? And that's the thing with Stockton is there's stuff like that. There's people like that all over Stockton in
Yeah.
this area. And I would have known, I would have gone if I knew about it. I hear that all the time. And so I was like, okay, let's get this information and this person, let's get it connected. And that's where I like the Holistic Chamber of Commerce structure is so we can get people connected in like-minded ways to like-minded events where people feel comfortable in that flow.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, our field trip, our meeting at Tuliberg Press last week was it blew my mind. It was such a beautiful, just amazing place and the mission and all the work they're doing. And then you get to people that I've met at our holistic chamber meetings. I'm like, wow, I did not know that existed. I didn't know you did this downtown or you had this thing, this event was
Like,
happening. So yeah, it's just really opened my eyes to all of the amazing resources and amazing practitioners that we have in our own community here.
oh yeah, here's my book from that I made at the Tuliberg Press. And I'm about at the point where I'm willing to write in the paper that
Mm,
I made from my lab coat, moving from an essential worker to an existential worker. And now it's what does that look like? And I have felt this whole summer with really it's like the first day of fall, right? And
mhm.
I feel like things are falling into place for everybody, and the leaves are coming down, and you're letting go of the old stories and identity of, oh, I was a chemist, I was a teacher, I was this, and now it's like, no, I can be all those things at any time, and I can call upon those characters at any time when I need them. And now I'm like, okay, I want to write I want to write the story of my character now with all of my characters honoring my old self. I've seen people like, oh, that was the old me and this is the new me. And it's, can't you just be all of you? And that's what I want to do is bring together all versions of me, past, present, and future. And that's where I want to write in that book and like use the past to like the pages of the past to now have a fresh start with writing whatever I want. And my friend Dice, that I do podcasts with, he and I are psychedelic integration coaches in Condor. And he and I were talking, and he said, your life is an editable script. You can
Mhm.
write your story at any time. And I was like, damn. I'm like, that hit pretty hard. And I was like, why do so many people get stuck in their bullshit? And that's something awesome about Tuliberg Press is you can go there, make paper from cloth or whatever. Maybe it had a terrible story, maybe it had an amazing story, and you can literally write your own script and your own life. And like Paula, the founder of Tuliberg Press, is looking for people here in San Joaquin County to write books about their story, about this community, and let people know that it's more than just a city of, oh yeah, I drove through Stockton at 80 miles an hour and that was it. Or, oh, Stockton, there's all this gang stuff there. And it's, you know what? Stockton has everything you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you're looking for trouble, you'll find it. You're
Yeah.
looking for food, you'll find it. You're looking for culture, you'll find it. You're looking for healers, you'll find them. Like,
Mm.
and that was a huge motivating factor of setting up the Stockton Holistic Chamber is to bring people together. And Shelly knew you online, but
Mhm.
I had never met you in person. Like I knew of you, but I didn't know you. And so in these meetings, like we get to know each other and like you did a behind the scenes photo shoot with us. And that was super awesome to get to know you and get to see who you really are. And so now that I've said all that, tell us like who you are, what are you doing, what life events have been going on for you, and where do you see yourself in the new era of you?
Mhm. Ooh, I love this question. I love what you were talking about, like writing your own story. Like you can re-script your story at any moment, literally any moment. You can just decide to flip the script if you're not enjoying what is right in front of you, what you have created in your life. So I love that piece. And yeah, so I love this change of the seasons as well too, because I'm definitely in a transition period myself. I've been a massage therapist for 20 years in the Stockton area and just serving our beautiful Stockton people in the massage and bodywork arena. And it's been such a blessing and I've loved it so much. And I'm also been feeling the call to just expand my offerings and expand how I'm able to work with people. So I'm like a total learner at heart. Like I will be learning till the day I die. Like I love taking courses. I love learning new modalities, new ways to work with people, just reading books, all the things. I'm just like, give me all the information. I love it. So I've been really training in different neurosomatic modalities and techniques and working with the mind and the body and the energy and like how does all of that work together? Like you said, how are you a whole person? It's not like leaving the old identity behind. It's like what were the blessings in that? And how can we like bring that with us in our heart and not just throw it away in the trash, like old me out there, stepping into the newness. So I love that just holistic view of life and of health and of our bodies and all of it. So I'm really stepping into creating my new company, which is HeartShine Alchemy. And I love working I've always been passionate about health and wellness. Like I've always been interested in learning about health. I've read all the nutrition books, I've done all the diets and stuff. And that being the key piece is like I was always looking outside of myself for how to fix my body or like how to be a certain way or look a certain external like motivation and like who out there has the answer for me instead. And I never ever looked within myself of what do I actually want, what does my body actually need. So that's been a big journey of just really disconnecting from the diet culture that we're all inundated with every day from every different angle, and just how to just connect from that mentality that is so damaging for so many of us. It just puts us in that outward facing, there's something wrong with me, there's something that needs to be fixed, I don't fit into this box that society says this is how I should be. So really just disconnecting from that and turning inwards and like really connecting with ourselves. So that's my big passion, is to really help to guide women back to their own bodies, back to learning how to actually listen to the wisdom within. And what is the language that our body speaks? Because there isn't a diet or a certain way of eating or a certain exercise or anything. Like it's a exploration of what lights you up. What lights your body up to move, or what foods just really feel delicious and nourishing, and you feel so you can feel your cells just like light up when you eat it. What are those practices where you can connect with nature and the wisdom out in nature or spirit or whatever that may be? But it's really like an internal process and learning how to find the answers within, because the answers are within every single one of us. So that's been my passion and what I'm really excited about creating with HeartShine Alchemy, and just helping guide women back home to themselves, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I've definitely seen a lot of that kind of work because in the last 2 years or so, Shelly and I did a spiritual sabbatical, right? We said goodbye to our 9 to 5 jobs and we got in touch with ourselves. Shelly started that. I started that off with doing a raw vegan retreat for a week at OHI in San Diego. And that's a spiritual journey in of itself. You're starving yourself, but like in a supervised way, and you have control of if you need to eat more, you just tell them, right? But that was like getting in touch with my body and what does my body want to eat, and like getting disconnected from all of the additives and stuff that we typically our bodies are exposed to, and getting colon hydrotherapy and like doing meditations and like getting a salt scrub from someone else, and just can you be in a receiving mode to get back into your body? Or are you running from thing to thing, task to task, just burning yourself out? And just opening up in that spiritual way of, wait, I can slow down and go faster, right? I saw you have a deep breath there. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just think what you're saying is so potent in our society, our culture, our society, especially in the Western world, in the United States. Like everything is so fast paced. And I find myself, I think we all succumb to that in certain ways. And I find myself like, I gotta rush to the next thing. And I'm like, wait, no, there is always time for a deep breath. Always, no matter what. I don't care how late you're running or what you got to get to. Like, there is time to literally take 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and just take a deep breath, because it just that simple act of one deep breath, it helps to reset your nervous system. It puts you, it's like it breaks the cycle of gotta go. It's like a little pattern interrupt. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for.
Well, like a long time ago, I did capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial arts that looks much like dancing. And when you want to buy into the fight, you literally put your hand out and break the rhythm to buy into it, right? And so a deep breath could be a way to break the cycle. Like people get spun up like tops in our modern living because they're constantly being attacked by saber-toothed tigers in like an email. And there's even this app for the hospital nurses. It's called Tiger Text. It literally is in the name to fucking attack you with messages to overload your nervous system. And so Shelly and I, Shelly is a former ER nurse, but before that, she was an artist, right? And so you get scared to pursue your artwork. So you go to something safe. Oh, I'm going to be a nurse and I'm going to make plenty of money and that's going to solve all my problems. And then suddenly you're like, this is not authentically me. But how can I be authentically me? And we're taught so much to disconnect from ourselves, where now I love what you're doing of helping women get back into their body. And you're really starting that with taking a deep breath.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my philosophy is simplicity and literally getting back to the basics, because it's those basic things of taking a deep breath, going and sitting in the sunshine for 2 minutes, drinking water, sleeping, like all of those like basic things that like we all know to do this, but none of us do it. It feels too, I feel like so many people just bypass the simplicity of, oh, that's way too simple. There's no way that could make an impact in my life, when that
Well,
makes the biggest impact.
we're taught that if we're sitting around, taking a deep breath or relaxing that we're lazy.
Ooh, yeah.
And I've been in a lot of healing containers where it was mostly women in the last 2 years. Like they're
Mhm.
not a ton of men. And then I've started like talking about this with some men, and I'm like, all right, are you a human being or are you a human doing? And they're like, okay, say more. Let's talk about that. And I'm like, is your worth solely based on what you're doing, your output, or can you just be a man? And it's opened up some really profound conversations in containers with men and women. And
Yeah.
and it's but that applies to all of us. And like women in our society are generally shifting into the masculine energetics of doing it all. Like, I'm the soccer mom, I'm the housewife, I do all the dishes, and I work a job, and I'm a CEO badass. And it's sometimes if you're always doing, how can you be in the receiving mode of the feminine?
Mhm.
And I love what you said about the breath work. That is the first way to just, because you're receiving the air from the environment.
Exactly.
And then your body is, oh, we're safe. Because you're not going to take a deep breath if you're not safe, right?
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
you can override the program
Yeah.
and feel safe by just taking a deep breath. Because you're like,
Mhm.
oh, and then you're in touch with your mind and your body are in sync in that moment because you just took a breath, you expanded your chest. Suddenly your chest is bigger than what it usually is. So then your proprioception is, oh, we took a deep breath. What's going on? Oh, there's no saber-toothed tiger around here. There's no tiger text. There's just me. I'm fine.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just that, again, that pattern interrupt that we need to just jolt us out of the monotony of like how we're just programmed to run and do, like you said, human doings. That's what so many of the world is, just human doings running around doing. And I love what you said about like your posture changing and everything, like the physiology, everything in your body changes when you just take one simple deep breath. Like you said, your heart opens. That's what I heard in that too, is okay, now we're living from a place of our heart space. Like our heart has opened up as well with that deep breath. And now how are you moving differently in whatever you're about to go to next? If you're taking your kid to soccer, if you're about to meet a friend, or if your spouse is walking through the door, like one deep breath, it's okay, now I'm in my heart and I can actually like approach this next thing from a space of love, from a space of maybe listening or understanding. Whereas if we're in that contracted go, it's just we miss that connection that's available, which is something that I feel like everyone is really craving, whether they know it or not.
Like when I was a teacher, I'd be like, okay, everybody, let's take a deep breath together. And then at first they're like, this is so stupid. And then you can also like, you can override people's nervous system by exaggerating your own. So if I'm in class and I'm getting ready to say something and there's a lot of energy going on, bring them down. And then I'll be like, yeah, so today, man, doesn't it feel nice to relax? And literally, their body is sensing my body opening up and slowing down. And naturally, we will calibrate or recalibrate or adjust to what our surroundings are. And if our surroundings are suddenly calming,
Mhm.
then we will also calm down. And
Uh,
so, and you can do that to yourself.
yeah.
It's just being aware in that microsecond to just slow down for a second and just say to yourself, this is a huge mindset shift. Oh, I got plenty of time. Even my body language is moving back. I got plenty of time. I'm gonna film real quick and then I'll film with Jennifer. I was 2 minutes late, but in the grand scheme of things, like, really, is that the end of the world? No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that so much. And it's just, I feel like it was leading the way in the paradigm shift that I know all of us in the chamber of commerce, like in the holistic chamber, like we're all here for that. We're all here. We're all a part of this paradigm shift in our own unique ways of like just doing things differently, moving in the world differently, speaking differently, having different conversations. And like I'm such a huge believer in what world change happens with us. It starts with us. It starts with like me, and then it starts with me, teaching one woman. how to connect with her body, and then that ripples out. And so it's just, I feel like it always starts with us. Whatever change we want to see in the world, we get to be that first, and then the ripple that happens out from you doing the inner work, doing all of that for yourself, taking the deep breath, being the example, like that then ripples out into the world, and that's actually how the world eventually changes. And like that, I love that. I love when I think about that, because sometimes it can feel so daunting or even hopeless when you look at the state of the world and you're like, how is this ever going to change? And it's no, okay, I can do my piece, I can do my part, and that ripple is what happens. That's how world change happens.
Yeah, the change you want to see starts with you. Everyone always says it, but it's a lot of examples you just gave. If the mom of the family can just take one breath, get connected with herself, know that she has plenty of time to do everything, and then also when women enter the receiving mode, then they're also willing to receive help, even if it
Right.
looks different. Your kid might load the dishes, that's all like a mess, but you know what? You don't have to do it anymore. But sometimes it's like overly critical, then you're not getting the help that you want, need, and desire. And the way to get that is to just take a deep breath, soften into your feminine, let the divine masculine caring take care of you and receive it. But then there's also that release to receive energy. And that reminds us every breath we take, release to receive. It's literally right in front of us to literally take a breath.
Yeah, exactly. It's all right there. Like we literally have everything we need within us. Like we have been given the tools to live an amazing life. We just get to tap into them. Like we've been conditioned out of them. We've forgotten about them. We're not taught about them. Like that isn't the society we live in. That is the society that we are like bringing into fruition. But yeah, it's not the normal for most people.
Now, I know you just went to a conference for other life coaches and stuff. So, what was like a big takeaway for you there, or what is something that you want to let go in your own paradigms, and what do
Mhm.
you want to bring into practice?
Ooh, that's such a juicy question. Yeah,
You
so
could break that up if you like.
absolutely. Yeah. So I went to an event called Transcendence in Arizona, and it was a room filled with 150 heart-led, impact-driven leaders. And so it was just an incredible environment to be in the first place. But really my big takeaway from that weekend was how we are each a micro movement. We have each been put on this planet, our soul incarnated on this earth with a movement in wanting to come to fruition. So connecting to what is that micro movement that you are creating. We have our big movement makers of like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. Those are big movement makers, but we are each our own micro movement makers in our own right too, right? Like our soul came here to bring something with a gift to bring to the world to make the world a better place. So that was really powerful to think about the impact that each of us is able to have if we choose to step into that. So definitely stepping into that. And my micro movement is to help. I work with women specifically, is just to help women to reconnect with their bodies, to come into tune with themselves so that they can be the best person in their life, and impact that ripple effect can go out into the world through that. So I believe that like when people are connected to their heart shine, the name of my business, the word heart shine came through to me a few years ago. And to me, everyone has a heart shine, and it is that heart shine that is your unique essence. It's your unique energy, your frequency. What is the love, that unique love that you're here to give, and that impact that your soul is here to make. And when we're tapped into that heart shine, we're in a different space. We're not in our head. We're not thinking about what to say. We're actually with the person. We're present with whoever is in front of us. We're listening in a different way. our hearts are connecting. It's like that heart frequency connection. And what can be created from that is truly limitless, like limitless potential of what can be created when people are gathering and they're in that heart shine space. So, and it's also about just like being shining in your authenticity, like shining in your own unique, authentic way, because we each bring such a beautiful gift to the world just by being ourselves. We don't have to have all the degrees and all the things, like just you and your heart and your soul, like you make a difference in the world. So I think that is all of that encompassed together is really the movement that I'm here to create and make the world a better place in my own unique little way.
So you use this word in your business, alchemy, which
Yeah.
is very interesting because my background degrees wise, one of my characters is medicinal chemist. And so
Ooh.
when I see the word alchemy, I'm like, ooh, what does she mean by that? And now that I'm like, I'm in the woo space, but I'm also in the science space. And it's like seeing the science and the woo to come together and this intersection of that right now, people are very interested in this. So I want to know, what do you mean when you say alchemy? And I'm not judging at all. I want to just know what you think about the word alchemy as it relates to HeartShine Alchemy, your business.
I love that. Yeah. I love that word alchemy because there's just so much power behind that word. And it's like, to me, alchemy is it's movement. It's like transformation. It's movement. It's not, you're not stuck in one place. You're not stuck anywhere. Like you were saying with your old, with our old stories, what are we leaving behind? We're never stuck in any one place. So to me, alchemy is like that possibility of shift and that possibility of change and that possibility of transformation that's available to all of us. And there's a million different tools and ways that we can do that. But the way that I think of it is that there's a few different like angles that I love. There's so many angles of taking alchemy into this work, but right when what I just spoke about, like with the heart shine, like that energy and that potency of our heart can transform anything. And so a lot of my work deals with allowing people to tap into their emotions, to actually feel their emotions instead of jamming them down and stuffing them away, or oh, I'll deal with that later. That was a huge part of my journey up until maybe 5 years ago. I was not in touch with my emotions whatsoever, unless it was in the happy category, the positive category. Like I was good with those emotions, but anything that was like in the realm of anger, sadness, grief, rage, disappointment, like all the other million emotions that we feel as humans, that is part of the human experience, I was like, no, we're gonna stuff that down. So alchemy, to me, there's so much potency in alchemizing our emotions, because emotions are part of the human experience. We're all going to feel them throughout the whole entire day, every single day of our lives. And so how do we take those emotions and move them through our bodies, allow them to flow, like alchemy, flow, transform, like we don't have to stay stuck in that space of anger. Okay, let me actually feel that anger. Let me bring that anger into my body through my heart shine. Let my heart shine work its alchemical magic within my body. Let my body move and move that energy through. And then you're left in a space of openness and peace. And maybe there's a lesson, maybe there's wisdom that came through from that emotion. So that's a lot of the work that I love to do, is helping people get in touch with emotions, because we are so disconnected in so many ways, and then allowing that like alchemical magic to work through and flow through. And then it doesn't get stuck in our being, in our cells, and cause all kinds of health issues, mental health, all the things.
Oh man, you just brought up like 1,000 more questions.
I know.
Are you safe or are you stuck? Right?
Yeah.
And so Shelly and I have talked about that for years. Oh, I worked at the hospital and there was trauma and all this stuff going on. And I stayed there because I felt safe. And I was like, were you safe or were you stuck? And there's a difference. Like, yeah. And so like figuring out like what's true to you. Are you walking in a path of authenticity? Are you walking in a path of like self-actualization? Are you walking in a path of your life's work? And what was interesting is literally right before this call, I asked you, hey, what's your human design? Right? And you sent me yours and I sent you mine. And then I just briefly looked at it and I saw a few channels. And now when you're telling me what you're doing, I'm like, oh, that's right there. And that's right there. And that's right there. And I was like, Okay, so you have astrology of human design and gene keys, and you have channels that should act a certain way or behaviors. And literally, you're telling me this stuff, and it's wait, how much is science? How much is woo? Or are they the same?
Are they the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like when you were talking about like anger and frustration and rage, it made me think of that wheel of emotions. And you said we're all human beings, which includes men of like their emotions too, other than like baby, I love you and fuck you, which is pretty much like acceptable for men. But then there's like the whole wheel of things that you mentioned, like anger, frustration, rage, exalted state, excited, anxious, which are similar but different. They
Yeah.
cause different thoughts, feelings, emotions. And what does that look like for all people, human beings, and stuff like that? But it also reminded me of All the Rage. There's this class, All the Rage, from a coach online.
Okay.
And it was basically, can you transmute the rage into something very creative? And then what dropped in is like imagining a seed planted in the dirt or it fell in the dirt. And like this seed is probably all fucking pissed off because it wants to break through, but it
Mhm.
has to do the deep inner work, the shadow work in the shadow to break through to then grow into whatever it's going to grow into. But what do you do with it? If you just stay pissed off, you're not going to break through. So if
Mhm.
you can take this pissed off energy and direct it somewhere, which is where the focus comes in of like breathing, getting in touch with yourself, knowing what you want to do, then boom. So like it's just all that dropped in when you were talking, and I was just like, oh, I love this like picture right now.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. And I love me a good gardening analogy.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all the,
Are
all
you
the
a gardener?
I love gardening. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I love that it's just such a beautiful like picture that we can all see, right? Of the seed. And oh yeah, you have to like that seed has to go through so much challenge and so much, like you said, like busting out, getting out, like a seed staying dormant, nothing happens. And a seed like using that potential energy to bust out of its shell and then create whatever it creates, a huge oak tree, a blade of grass, whatever it is, like it's beautiful. But yeah, it's just that transmuting. It's that transmuting of energy and how are we going to use it and what are we going to create out of it too.
I noticed that in human design, you have emotional authority of solar plexus,
Uh-huh.
which is like a lot of like self-expression and stuff. And it's like writing your emotions to put them into a place where you're not stuck, where you're like, where you are creating, where you're alchemizing, where you're putting things together. And that's kind of a huge reason of like why I started the Stockton Holistic Chamber with Shelly is to like take people from here and people from here and get everybody talking so
Mhm.
that we can alchemize and make some amazing things for our community. I've been to like, I went to a conference in Utah. I went to this place that had organic food. It was so bland. It was like so heartless. And then I was like, I can't wait to get back to Stockton where there's people who make food here with blood, sweat, and tears. And you know that there's an emotional component, an energetic component to creating alchemizing food. And it's like, how do you nourish your body physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually in a way that you can fully show up as your most authentic self.
Yeah.
And so I'm really curious what you learned at your event and what you're going to let go of and what you're bringing into your business. And
Mm,
well, of course, when I say business, I also include your life, right? This is
yeah.
about embodiment of all of you and then being rewarded energetically with currency into you and yourself and to others in the community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for circling back to that. I forgot
Yeah.
that second part of the question. Yeah, oh man, what am I letting go of? So I think the biggest thing there's so many things to let go of in this fall. And
Well, you
I,
can list them all. Go ahead.
right, here's my list. I'll burn it later in a ceremony.
No, that there's something to that too.
There absolutely is. Again, that alchemical piece, right? Using the elements to alchemize. Yeah, so good. I think the biggest thing I am letting go of and alchemizing in this next chapter of my life is perfectionism. I get to bless and release perfectionism. It serves me so well because I do creating excellence, creating really high quality products and experiences and things is very important to me. And it's also held me back so much in my life of not actually putting anything out there. So I've been like a best kept secret for a long time. I've kept myself secret for a long time. I've hid in the background for a long time. So this is definitely my time to come out and shine, let go and just do it messy. I think that's the kind of the season that I'm in is just get out there and just do it. Just trust. I can trust myself. I know I got my back. I know I got me as far as my nervous system. I am safe. I am regulated. I can be in these spaces of leadership, and I know I can step into that. And so it's just like being able to show up, and maybe I don't say it exactly perfect, or maybe I don't, whatever happens. We're in this dynamic life, right? And so whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and just know that I got it. But I can show up and I can just be messy. I can just be myself. I can just be my authentic, let my heart lead, let my heart shine lead, and know that's it will all work out exactly the way it's meant to. So yeah, leaving that perfectionism behind, stepping out, like bringing my own version of magic to the world so that I can actually impact people. I know there each of us in the world, as or if we're just talking about our Stockton holistic chamber group, like we each have so much magic to bring to people, and people are out there. Something that really came through in this conference was that there are so many people out here that are suffering, so many people in the world that are suffering in so many different ways. And we have the codes to alleviate that suffering in some way. And so by me sitting here, oh, I got to have it all perfect. And I someone is suffering, that I have the tools and the codes and the love to give to that person to help alleviate that suffering. Like, why am I holding back on that? So that really just hit me to the core of my being of there's nothing that matters of the perfect T crossed and I dotted and whatever. I have to look a certain way or whatever. There are people suffering, and I have an answer to that. We each have an answer to that. So we get to step out in the world and help, serve.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's juicy. You just brought up like lots of discussion topics. Yeah, I someone recently posted about perfectionism
Mhm.
is actually like a shame space.
Mhm.
And when you're like, oh, it's not perfect yet, you're in a shame space because you're like, you're protecting yourself from, I guess you're having an attachment to it, right? So it's like, how can you disconnect from the perfectionism and just be authentically you? That might look messy, that might look a certain way, but it doesn't matter because it will bring people to you who are like, oh, she's like real. Like she's a person too. Oh, like I have a mess too, or whatever. And I think there's really something there. And then also the first video I ever posted on YouTube was like in January 2022. I got into an ice bath and I was explaining the physiology at 330 pounds, big person. I'm like, oh, people might troll me and this and that. And Liz, my coach from Body Church, was like, dude, you have so much information to share. Like, you're being selfish if you don't post it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And that was like, you're right. Okay. All right. And I had to catch my breath on that. I had to be like, okay, I'm gonna be safe. Even if people say shit, it doesn't matter because you know what? There's gonna be people out there that are big like me that are gonna be like, damn, if he can do it, I can do it. I'm like, all right. And like people would ask for it. Hey, will you do some big yoga stuff on the bed so I can do it? My knees don't hurt. And then I started responding to it and I'm like, okay. Now I've dealt with a few trolls along the way, but it's maybe it's them just reflecting at themselves, like something that they got to take a look at. And it's maybe it's there for them, maybe it's there, maybe it's them, maybe it's me, maybe it's a reflection portal. That's the thing. Once you start becoming aware of being aware, then you're like, wait, is this mine? Is this theirs? What's going on? And the other thing with perfection is like when you do perfection, you're blocking opportunity. You're blocking money. You're blocking cash flow. And it's, wait, why am I doing this? So this is something that comes back to what we were saying earlier. If you're being perfectionist, how are you in the receiving mode of somebody who wants to work with you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't work with you yet. My website isn't, I don't have, my website isn't perfect yet. Sorry. No, what? Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people that want to work with you will find you.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
no matter what, like I know you said you don't have your website done yet. It's okay. You're working on, people love to see you working on, okay, guys, I'm working on my website.
Mhm.
And then also what like you have done a lot of work online, but now there's people in Stockton. Like the way Stockton works is people need to know and trust you. And so the way they do that is they see you out in the community. They see you in person. You give them a business card, you give them a handshake, you text them or call them, and then they go look at your social media or your website and see what you're up to. And then they come around and they'll be like, okay, I want to work with them. So that's just how Stockton kind of works that we've noticed. Like we've hosted events, we've done different things here in classes, and we noticed that for us in the Stockton Holistic Chamber, it's important to meet people where they're at, right? Like you can talk all this ethereal, like spiritual stuff, and it's wait, let's be real. Let's start with maybe like breath work.
Yeah.
Let's start with maybe, hey, do you wanna have a cup of coffee? You wanna talk?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that goes back full circle too around like the simple things. It's those simple concepts that are the game changers, right? Of like meeting people where they're at. What a brilliant concept. And just taking that deep breath or whatever it might be. So it's, yeah, there's, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought, but there was a piece I wanted to touch on too of what you were talking about, the perfectionism stuff and like how that really relates back to a core wound of not good enough, right?
Mhm.
Which is a huge one for so many of us, of that core wound of not good enough and how are we holding ourselves back from being our full expression in the world and what we're here to do because we let that core wound fester and never take a look at it. And then bringing that like inner child in, which a lot of times perfectionism or any of the various things that are holding us back or keeping us stuck, or is that limiting belief or block, like it's our inner child just wanting some love. Like I love doing inner child work with people or inner teenager work, like just that inner little us, that inner little us that is just like crying out for some sort of attention. And it's just manifesting in this way of, oh no, it can't, we're not safe to put that out there because it's not perfect. Okay, okay, baby girl, what do you need? Do you just need a little, do we need to dance right now? Do you need a hug? Do you need to take some deep breaths? Do you just need me to assure you that I got this and we got this and we can put where you want to, we're going big and we're here to impact people and just giving ourselves that reassurance. So there's so many beautiful tools that we can use to self-regulate, whether it's a breath, whether it's just giving ourselves some extra love or just taking a moment to pause and just be with ourselves. And then it gets us out of that headspace of just spinning and, oh my gosh, what
Yeah,
am I?
like even when we did your photo shoot at
Mhm.
the Japanese tea garden, you were talking about you don't have to go to the gym and lift 1,000 pounds per rep and do the stair climber for 2 hours. Like, how can you move your body in the moment and move through an emotion or a feeling or a thought and just be connected with you? And so it's like allowing yourself permission of it doesn't look like what's on the magazines, on the TV, on social media. It's finding that movement that works for you.
Yeah.
So if women are resonating with what you're saying and what you're talking about, like how do they work with you? How do they get in touch with you? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is just help women create health on their own terms, right? Not on anyone else's terms, not on any other book or whatever philosophy that's out there. Let's explore things and find out what actually resonates with you. So yeah, I have a few ways you can get in touch with me. Social media, I'm Jennifer Bond on Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot. And then Instagram, I'm at HeartShine Alchemy. And yeah, what I'm in the process of creating is I'm going to be starting some monthly free online groups. And I think it's going to be called Body Talk because I just want to create a space for women to come together and just be able to have a conversation about our bodies. and in an empowering way, because I think so much of the conversation that currently happens between women around our bodies is a whole lot of shit talking. Like we get together, just complaining, like all this stuff. That's the general conversation that happens. So I want to open up a new conversation where we can start to just talk to each other, first of all, and open up a more empowered way to be with our bodies, to relate to our bodies, to see our bodies, to appreciate our bodies, to eventually get to that space of loving our bodies. It doesn't always start there, right there. A lot of times it's not going from like hating our body to loving our body. There's a lot of steps, nuance and steps in between. So I just want to create a space to open up that conversation for women, and then also lead us through a little experience, whether it's breath work or meditation, or maybe it's a Kundalini Kriya or something like that, but just creating that space and an experience for us to be with our bodies and have that conversation and be able to share with each other. So that's coming starting in October. That will be an online offering for free. Anyone can come. So check out my social media on when that will be. And then I also offer experiences within other people's groups too. So if you're a leader, a coach, whatever, if you have a space or a group of people and you would like them coming into touch with their bodies, like just in a different way of getting out of our heads and into our bodies, and what is available when we actually tap into our body in a different way. There's so much available in all realms. Like it can affect your business, it can affect your relationships, your life, like in all different ways. So I also facilitate group experiences within other leaders programs and offerings too. And then you can also go, if you want to really dive deep and go deeper on your own personal health journey and what that looks like to create health on your own terms and really connect to you, come back home to you. I also have one-on-one packages available too. So we can talk about that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Shelley would definitely love to probably do a follow-up podcast with you about body talk with women. Like she did a body dysmorphia project with 4x5 photography back in college in the early to mid 90s. She'd probably like to talk to you about that. And she did weight loss surgery and she's gone up and down 100 pounds a couple times, and like clothing and everything that comes up with that, and emotions and everything. So
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Yeah.
I'm really interested in having our members of Stockton Holistic Chamber put together bundles and package deals together that can only be found working with people in our community. So right now we're doing like greens nutrition, hair follicle testing, also with DL Whitaker Wellness with colon hydrotherapy. We're putting together a package deal there. So like just be thinking about maybe how you might want to work with some of the other members, because I think we can really put together some really neat events and experiences, and I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm so excited about what's being created and co-created between all of us. And thank you again. I'm so grateful to you and Shelley for being like the head of leading this charge that we're and this movement that we're creating in Stockton and in the surrounding areas, because there is so much collaboration already happening. And like you said, there's so many unique offerings that we can create by co-creating with each other and collaborating together. So yeah.
Right. And getting it in front of the people who would like to hear it. And
Yeah.
that's part of the reason of doing these podcasts and getting out some reels. Quickly, I wanted to show you my Otter AI note taker. It turned off, but it has some action steps and some items, and I wanted to show you what that
Amazing.
looks like. And
Beautiful.
also showing others too. I help people integrate life-changing events and experiences and build systems so that they can flow for themselves and have effort where they want to. And so yeah, nice. Thank you. Let me give you a little tour. So we have like our full transcript, of us talking and everything. And then in the summary, it's like it gives a summary at the top. It has actionable item steps of promote Jennifer's new offers, including body talk, in-person stuff, Stockton Holistic Chamber, social media, get some pictures and content out there. Like some of these are for Jennifer and some of them for me. And then an outline of what we were doing to set up, promoting the Holistic Chamber, what's Jennifer's background in business and transitioning and new ventures and deep breathing and mindfulness. And like literally each one of these could be turned into like content. This could be turned into little mini ebook guides. This could be turned into these could be all other podcasts or content ideas for Jennifer or for us. So it's like using utilizing AI to use it for the good versus doing things that are not so good. So I wanted to show you that.
I love that. And I feel like that would be a super potent podcast for you to do, or
Yeah,
just content to put out there, is that conversation around using AI for good. Because I know that's something I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to get into AI until I've learned some things from you, how you can use it to just be efficient and maximize your time and that kind of stuff.
I was in I was in a shadow work container with some women. They hired me to come in and help them show how to use AI. So during their monthly cycle, when they didn't feel like doing shit, I helped them figure out how to get stuff scheduled out there so they could show up a little more consistently, so they could take a day or two and just not do shit and not feel bad about it.
Yes.
And so it's like building those systems for yourself, no matter who you are, and having that flow is really important. So that opens up your time to do other things like breath work or yoga or movement practice, or have time to join one of Jennifer's containers and stuff like that. And it's, can you slow down so you can go fast? It's just
Mm.
that one, it's just starting with that one breath, just that one breath, and that's where it's at. And so if you're interested in joining the Stockton Holistic Chamber as a community member or as a business owner, like definitely check that out. holisticchamberofcommerce.com. I'm sorry, holisticchamberofcommerce.com/Stockton. You could check out Instagram, TikTok, and all that. It would be Stockton Holistic Chamber. And then also, if you message there, I can get you in touch with Jennifer or me or whoever might have came up during this conversation. We have upcoming events. The next one's going to be a mixer on October 22nd in the evening. That'll be fun. We're looking at doing some guest speakers and then also another mixer in December. So each month we have our main meeting, and then many of us like we'll go down to Modesto or Oakdale, or we'll all go to Sacramento and do little field trips or get-togethers, and that's been really cool. The next thing I'm working on is a lot of people have made a lot of content and they need help implementing it and getting it out there. So we're going to have a meetup for our members. Members would be free, non-members would be paid, and we're gonna get some of our content out there, because the best way for people to get connected with us is to post it. Because a posted reel, even if it's not perfect, beats a reel saved in your on your phone every time, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah, so good. I'm just so excited to be a part of this group and to watch this group grow over time. It's just such an incredible group of people. So if anyone's listening to this and you're on the fence, come and check out a meeting. It's just such beautiful, heart-centered people who we just want to serve the world and help each other serve the world in a bigger way. It's been
So
brilliant.
awesome. Yeah, I'm also putting together some like courses on how to do some of this stuff on school, SKOOL.com, and then /TCTO for the couples take on. And I'm going to put courses for quitters. I'm going to put stuff like what we just did. You might even consider that for your new offers coming out. It's a nice platform, and sometimes Facebook gets censored, or people don't want to share intimate details on Facebook and have it all metadata mined. So that's why I've been shifting some of my stuff from other platforms to school. So that might be something for you to check out too. And that's what this holistic chamber is all about, is you see, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about it's like coming together and trying to help each other and seeing each other from a place of collaboration versus competition. So like we have several life coaches in our group, but each one of us is unique. Each one of us has a different focus, a different call. And so when we realize that we're in a society of collaboration instead of competition, like we can really affect change. And I really love what you had said about micro movements. It's just like it's that one little tweak every day. Can I eat for myself a little better? Can I let go a little more? Can I take a little bit deeper of a breath? Can I move my body a little more? Can I see my body with a little less shame? Can I step fully into myself? And I saw this meme with making a clay structure or a sculpture, and like this guy is next to a woman, like chipping away, revealing their truest self, you know. And it literally said it's like the deep inner work is the hardest. And it's you just keep chip and you can't chip it all away at once. You have to like little bit at a time, one breath at a time, one yoga pose at a time, one drawing at a time, one photograph at a time. And so do you have any final thoughts?
Oh man.
That's my favorite Chat GPT question. So now I ask it to people too.
Yeah. Oh, I love so much what you just shared about it's just one little step each day. It's not this big monumental. Sometimes we can look at our goals and it just looks so daunting and overwhelming. And it's literally just small movements every day. And I think what I would love to just share to end on is like that you coming back to that piece of we have everything we need inside of us. Like our bodies are magical, absolutely miraculous. And there's so much wisdom within us that is just waiting to be heard, waiting to be followed and listened to. And if we can just start that journey of just a little bit of not looking outside of ourselves. If you find yourself asking a question, looking outside or wanting to go on Google or whatever, read a book or something, can you just ask yourself that question real quick? Just turn it around. Maybe you get an answer, maybe you don't, but just starting that practice of, hey, what do I actually think of this? Or closing your eyes and like taking a deep breath and like feeling what does my body have to say about this? What does my body want in this moment? I think there's just so much magic available to us in just that practice. So that's where I always encourage everyone to start is just starting to take that deep breath and listen within. Just start listening and see what wisdom wants to come through because it's there. It's guaranteed. 100% it's there.
Nice. That was awesome. I will put links of your social medias and ours and stuff in the description also. I'll use AI to help generate some of the copy because it's all about streamlining. Like the more I can streamline, the more people I could interview because it's you have to find systems that support you and sometimes you have to build those yourself because the best systems for you are the ones that you know that work for you. So I'm going to do that. Do you want to go ahead and end it here? Or do you want me to pause it and then we'll talk? Or do you want me to just end it here and we'll keep talking and we can reflect, which might also make some cool reels for you too?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can. Yep.
So the podcast is ended, but yeah, that was good. That was very expansive. I'll definitely need to come back down to my body with having water, having food, maybe go for a walk or something. How about for you?
Yeah, that felt so good. That was such a great flow. Like I felt like that flowed so well and so much amazingness came out of that conversation in so many different ways. Like I feel like we could have gone for another hour.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, easily. So yeah, I loved it. It was beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation and for just this opportunity and seriously, thank you so much for creating what you've created in all the different ways, not just the chamber, but like all the different offerings you've been so
Oh,
helpful for me already too, of just the little pieces I've learned from you here and there. I love what you're doing. So thank you.
thank you. Thank you also. That's where I saw the holistic chamber had some structure to hold all the people, but
Mhm.
like every chamber it's not like I need to set it up the same way as everybody else. Like I'm doing other things. Like I told people if you sign up for a year in advance, like you'll get some extra things like an AI session or maybe I'll take your pictures or whatever. And it's really about like collaboration and buy-in and like getting things going and like changing the perception of Stockton. And like some people are like, oh, why don't you name it the Sacramento Valley and you can include all this stuff and San Joaquin Valley. And I'm like, no, like I really want to include like Stockton because Stockton often gets like bypassed and there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of healing to happen here for everybody. There's culture here, there's understanding that can happen here. And I'm like, I want to definitely keep Stockton in the name. And if other places want me to help them set up little satellite things, it's fine. Because like I can hold that, all of that. I have the capacity for all of that. And I want this area of Stockton to get connected because there's healing pockets here and there. And it's no, let's bring it together, honoring that everybody does things differently, but like having a centralized hub of that way we can refer out. It's like a network of trees and mycelium and everything.
Yeah.
It's, oh, that person way over there, I can connect him over here. And I like to connect. And so it gives the opportunity to make that happen. And I've already seen members of our chamber doing things with other members or getting linked up to people that are outside the holistic chamber. Anna just did, your friend Anna
Yep.
just did a photo shoot with the lady that Shelly and I introduced her to.
Yeah. Yes. That's so awesome.
Because
Yep.
Shelly walked up and was like, Shelly's, you know who looked good in these clothes? I'm like, who? She's like, Anna. And I was like, okay. And then I like got the lady's info and like, do you want to do photos sometime? She's, I'm thinking about it. I'm getting my business going. I'm like, cool, we'll come to some meetings. And then I'm like, hey, let me introduce you to this. Let me see if this lady would want to do it.
Yep.
And let's make that happen. And then it was like, it's just coming together. And for me, when I see the alchemy of me playing in the kitchen's environment of human design, of putting these things together, I get really excited about seeing when it comes together. Like
Mhm.
that feels very like, I don't know, satiating, rewarding for me, whatever, like good. Oh yeah, it happened.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's so I love that you're keeping Stockton in the name too, because it does. Stockton gets such a bad rap from, and it's not. That's not the truth of, and like you said, you're gonna find whatever you look for. Whatever you look for, you're gonna find. And so just having this space of all of us together and continuing to like bring more people in and collaborate more and create a bigger community, and who knows what a year down the line, what events we're doing in the city that changed many people's lives who had no idea this stuff even existed. I just see the bigger ripple
Well,
effect.
like
It is
I
amazing.
I just went to Elk Grove. A friend invited me randomly to like this, like a pitch party where it's like people are pitching their businesses and they were down to the last five and there was $10,000 prize, 5,000, 2,500, and a 2,500 prize. There were some billionaires in the room ready to invest. There were some millionaires ready to invest. There was like 200 people in this like this nice hall in Elk Grove. It's got wood floors, it's got a wood stage, and I was like, I'm looking around and I'm like, I know what I want to do here. I want to have a holistic night out or something, and bring the ladies from the Goddess Night Out in Sacramento because they're doing little tours. Set up there, have a static dance, have like yoga, have breath work, have sound bath, maybe a cacao journey because you can rent it for 12 hours at a time. It's a little pricey. It's about 4 grand for 12 hours, but like the venue was amazing. It has like I could just see how people like you, people like me, the holistic, we could all put like a pop up, everybody has a table, and like everybody gets to do like a mixer, like just a really neat event. See,
Oh,
this is me talking ethereal. Like I see what I want to do, kind of, but
mhm.
now I'm like, I'm gonna need help for this. I can't do all of this myself. But now I'm like, we could really put together a really neat like healing fair that also has workshops, that also has community engagement and like bringing everybody together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's so amazing. And I love I don't know what the like what just a question for you because I haven't actually been like I didn't wasn't able to make it to the Goddess Festival or like I haven't really been to any holistic health fairs or anything like that. What are the people coming to those events and those things? Are they people who are already like the spiritual woo woo whatever into all of they're already into all of this stuff, or is it people that are like I don't know what this is about. Because I'm curious how there's a way to bring in people that like literally have no idea what holistic health is or what meditation or breath work, any of that is. Like, how can we bring those people in the community into it too? What have you found is the like demographic at these events?
Okay, yeah, so at the Goddess Festival in Sacramento, that was a new location. it also had a wedding show adjacent to it at the same time because Kimberly Vaughn does more wedding stuff, but she's also into this goddess stuff.
Okay.
So there was a mix of people because some people came for the wedding show also.
Okay.
In October 5th and 6th, there's the Yosemite Goddess Festival, which pretty much everybody there is going to be into the woo stuff, or they're bringing their friends that are not quite into it yet. The Goddess Night Out was set up by, I think her name's Olivia, and she was like, I think she was a reporter or still is in Sacramento. And
Mhm.
she set up where women can come and dance however they want to dance and not feel like preyed on or
Mm.
uncomfortable or whatever, like intuitive body movement, stuff like that. Every once in a while, if the moon is one of the masculine moons, they'll invite there's a guys group in Sacramento. They'll come too, and then guys can come to the events too.
Mhm.
Right now, they're like popping up the Goddess Night Out dances in different cities and locations. And so I thought they could bring one of them to the Elk Grove Center I found. That was
Mhm.
pretty neat.
Oh.
And then how would you get people that are like want to dip their toes into it? I think that comes from each of us in the holistic chamber teaming up with Oakdale and Modesto. And even the head of the holistic chamber is in Pasadena. Like she's seeing the stuff that we're doing and we're putting out. She's, I want to come. I feel left out. And
Yeah.
so we're talking about putting together some big event where I'd be like, yeah, round up all your LA people. Like, come fly to Sacramento. It's close to Elk Grove. Like, we could do a big thing where we like, I don't know if that's before the end of the year or maybe after. I don't know. But there's also people I know from, do you ever hear of Tobias? He does all these different events at his house.
I think you've told me about
Yeah.
him. I don't
So
know.
I helped him co-host a party with 80 people at his house.
Okay.
So we got 80 there. There's probably about 50 holistic chamber members in this area. That's 120. And then each of us have our audience within Instagram or wherever. And then there's another guy, Clint, up in Placerville. He knows a lot of people. He had an event with 2,000 people like a couple months ago, but that was through a nonprofit and there was a lot of stuff. But I think we could get like 200 people to come to something pretty easily. I just think it'd have to be like we get everybody together, we get the funds together, secure the room. Like you're probably gonna have to charge some amount to cover everything. Like,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I think that would also we could even do like pitches like they had. Like everybody gets up and they got a 1 minute pitch, and then they have a time to mingle and have each presenter has a table and everybody comes for a big pitch, a tight pitch. That doesn't mean you have to sell or buy something. It could just
Yeah.
be what's your story. But
Sharing. Yeah.
I,
Mhm.
I think we could put together some like badass stuff.
Yeah, totally. Have you been,
Yeah.
it's not, have you been to that space?
Yeah, it's pretty nice
That a
and
space
it's
where, because it looked like he rented.
Caitlin rented it out. Wild Honey. She's the lactation birth
Oh,
consultant.
okay. Yep. I remember her from the
She,
first. Yeah.
I think she was at like the first meeting.
Okay. Yep. I remember.
Um, she hosted an event there with a few other ladies in that space of home birth stuff,
Okay.
and it went really well. Like she posted lots of pictures and stuff. I've looked into doing, they have a computer lab and I've offered to teach classes there, but there's like some resistance there. I'm like, no, I'm here to collaborate. I'm not here to be in competition with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I could rent out that space, but that Elk Grove space was huge and like amazing windows and there's beautiful grounds and there's a pool nearby. There's a
Oh,
veteran
wow. Okay.
center.
So it's a
Like
vibe. It's a whole vibe.
it's a whole vibe.
I've
But
never been there, so I didn't know if that was like,
oh yeah, go
I just
check it
looked
out.
online. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that sounds really
this
cool.
I also like that it's close to the airport. The people
Mhm.
from Placerville and the people from Fairfield that I met, like it bring it central.
Yeah.
I also like doing stuff in Stockton too, but it needs to feel energetically aligned. And right now I'm getting a lot of resistance from doing things that, hey, let's maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe because I was up there in Sacramento and they said, okay, we need to fill time between the 10-minute pitches. Anybody want to come up for 30 seconds and give their pitch? My friend's like, hey, you should go. was like, I don't know, man. There's 200 people here, and like, I don't know how well they'll receive some of the things I'm doing. And I leaned into it, and I went up to the MC later, and I was like, hey, I'd like to talk about the holistic chamber and what I'm up to. He's like, cool, yeah, I'll work you in. I'm like, okay. Then he was looking my way, and I'm like, I'm going. I'm not waiting for somebody to ask. He's like, oh, okay, Austin, yeah, come on up. And I was like, hey, I'm Austin, founder of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce for Stockton. This is what we're doing. There's no chapter in Elk Grove. There's no chapter in Sacramento. I'd love to work with you guys to get that going here. And I help first responders and veterans with psychedelic integration. And that, like, the whole room was like, what did he say?
Like NPS. I
Yeah.
just dropped this on you.
Yeah. And I was like, all right. A few people talked to me at the end, and one lady, I was like, okay, her and I, we can make this shit happen. She like works with people that are disabled, and I've done some work with non-obvious disabilities, and I was like, okay, I have this stack of business cards of people that I need to like circle back with, but like I have to be in like the mood to circle back. You
Mhm.
know, I'm trying to honor that two line of me of the hermit.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, that's that hermit coming through.
Yeah. Because like I used to always be like, go do everything. And then I would burn myself out or I'd have health opportunities come up. And now I'm like, okay, I went very expansive with setting up the holistic chamber, going to everybody else's chapter, setting up Goddess Festival, promoting all of that. And then I was like, I just want to be with myself for a little bit. And I started telling people, no, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just enjoying that two line.
Yeah.
What? Now I'm like, you have to be in the energy of following up.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
especially if you're opening a deal versus, oh man, I'm gonna get on the phone, I'm gonna close this deal. It's like things are shifting.
Right.
Things
There's a
now is
whole
like,
nurture sequence that needs of that know and trust thing. It's people. Yeah.
yeah. And now I'm like, because I also want to reach out in a way where I'm like, where I'm grounded,
Yeah.
where
Hmm.
I'm in my inner authority and my sovereignty and my power and like what do I want to do and how do I want to show up and what does that look like? Like I'm literally like imagining it so I can manifest it,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
And be like, oh, that'd be cool to do all this stuff here. And then I have to really let go of what it looks like. Because
Yeah.
shit, it could end up at right. Like maybe there's a radical honesty, radical respect, like conversation. Like one of my coaches online, she was like, oftentimes we're one difficult conversation around for some understanding.
Yeah.
And if somebody is like, sees me and what I'm doing, sometimes people feel threatened by it, especially if I'm grounded in what I'm doing. Grounded energy can be scary as fuck right now to people that are not grounded. And so when they see me grounded, like that can be very scary.
Mhm.
And so now it's like, how do I help them get grounded also so that they feel safe to share and collaborate?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. One question about, yeah, I got that same vibe. And I didn't know anything about, like, you had just sent me that for the group that he was doing, and I reached out on Facebook in the DMs. I'm like, hey, I'm just told I'm part of the Stockton Holistic Commerce, and this is what I'm up to. And I'd love, if you have space, I'd love to be a part of your group. It sounds awesome. And it was just like a literal like one line. There's no availability.
Yeah, I from what I've heard, one other holistic chamber went for one and then didn't felt some of that stuff and they just bailed. And then another member, they liked it, but I think there's some core wounding there,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
when I was looking at the website and just seeing like what they're about and who they're serving, and it was like the BIPOC community and marginalized, like really serving that community. And so I was just like, I wonder if that is part of it or if it's something totally different.
They're also like Christian religious based organization.
Okay.
So maybe they're confused on what they're doing and what's going on. I've heard of some, of course, I want to like check these out for myself, but like some business dealings that sounded a little weird. And for me, when things come up that don't feel right to me now, I'm starting to honor my body and be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no. Like if it's not aligned right now, it's not aligned right now. That doesn't mean it couldn't come back around, but
Mhm.
I'm trying to honor my gut. And when I see a red flag come up, I'm starting to be like, yep, done. Or
Totally.
at least done for now.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
open to the opportunity of something coming around when it's more timely or aligned or whatever. But Shelly and I have really leaned into our gut feelings because every time we're like, oh no, little ick comes up and we're like, no, we do it anyway. And we're like, it's always like some fucking disaster. And we could
Yep.
have just saved ourselves the time by like, and that's that sacral energy of yes, no. Like
Mhm.
in my human design, it's a split definition, sacral, and
Okay.
then also all the mind and analytical stuff.
Okay.
I'm very heavy in my mind and analytical for so many years that now I'm like trying to trust my gut. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes that's why I'm a little bigger is I hadn't trusted my gut. I'd always buried it. I'd always keep eating it.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking my truth, embryological development, sacral, nose, throat, they close together. So if somebody has thyroid cancer, sometimes there's something going on in their sacral energy where they need to share their truth about something and then it'll clear up. And it's really interesting, the metaphysical, spiritual stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I geek out on that too.
So with those things, if I told Shelly, I'm like, from now on, if you have an ick, you need to tell me. If I get an ick, I'm going to tell you. I don't have to tell you in that moment. I just have to tell you before we make that decision.
Right.
And as an emotional authority, like you are as well as me,
Mhm.
if I get an ick of yes, no,
Mhm.
I decide as a four line who gets the opportunity to be with my energy.
Mhm. Okay.
So first of all, it's yes, no.
Mhm.
If it's a no, they don't get to be with it. If
Mhm.
it's yes, maybe yes, then I ride the emotions of the yes, no, of
Uh,
like the analytical or what it looks like, and then it's no. So when
mhm.
I saw those classes come up, I'm like, I've tried to collaborate a few times and they weren't really interested. But I'm like, hey, this might work for some of our members. I'm going to share it with them because I think it would help them get started. And then once they've done the basics, like I can show them how to really drive it home, but then not even for them it aligned, it like de-aligned. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with things there. And then when I saw that place in Elk Grove, I was like, this
Full body.
place,
Full
yeah,
body.
like that in my body was a fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this, and even right now I got chills on it. My whole body chills. It was like, fuck yes, I'm doing an event here. I just don't know what it looks like
Yeah. Hmm.
yet,
Yep. Yeah.
right? And so yeah, like my whole body's tingling right now.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
So it's like then people like you doing your body movement stuff, get you on stage and hey everybody, we're gonna do a quick workshop with Jennifer. We're gonna do a 10-minute get into your body thing.
Yep.
And each one of us could do a little 10-minute of how to get in your body thing. And like people we could have the whole mixer of tables all around of HeartShine Alchemy and couples take on, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, 10 minutes. We're taking a little quick break. Okay,
Yep.
Jennifer, you're on stage. What are you doing?
Yeah. I love that. Just shine, like highlight everybody's brilliance. Get the
Yeah.
little
And
highlight.
then clear out all the tables. We all could have a picnic or whatever. And then like just all day long. And then at the end, dance. And then in the evening, we just lay there and integrate. And anybody who wants to talk, they can go in the hallway and they can chit chat. And there's like a cafe in there. There's
Right.
like, I need to find pictures of it empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds
Do you
amazing.
see what I mean? Like,
Yep.
there's stuff happening and
Mhm.
moving and everything. So I want to honor your time too. We said 1 o'clock. I booked from 11:30 to 1. Are you doing
Okay.
okay on
Yep.
time? Is
I'm good. I don't have anything
there
else.
anything else you want to say? I'm
I'm
starting to get hungry.
I know. Yep, exactly. I can feel my stomach rumbling too. I would love to pick up, and we don't have to go into it now, but I'm curious what during the podcast you were saying, oh, I see in your human design why what you just said like makes so
Oh
much.
yeah.
But you said you're doing a workshop or something on
Yeah, it's gonna
that?
be so I'm doing a human design gene keys and shadow work integration series at Dragon Ferry in Stockton on Miracle Mile.
Oh,
September 26th on Saturday,
okay.
this Saturday. Like 11 to 1-ish. The first one's going to be free. The other two will be paid. And then Paige and I are working out if there's going to be like a little store credit or something like that, so people can get some stones or whatever.
Yeah.
The first one will be like an intro, and then the second two will be a deeper dive. You're welcome to come and join. I think it would be really neat. But yeah, that's where I saw, ooh, I see that line. I see why Jennifer is into what she's doing. And I'm like, nice. And I don't believe that human design and gene keys are end all be all. I
Mhm.
just think it's a great place to look at and feel what feels good to you right
Mhm.
now. Because it could be something that comes up later in life.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
you're here to learn. You're here to grow. You're here to learn the lesson because the universe will keep giving you the same lesson until you get it. When
Mhm.
you get it, then you move on to another thing, right? And the gene keys is a great place to look at the shadows, the
Mhm.
wounding, the childhood wounding. It's like a place to flow into with it. So I think this is going to be a badass class. Like,
Yeah. That's so I have the Gene Keys book, I have the Human Design book, and
nice.
Gene Keys is one where I keep reading, I keep rereading it. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, there's just something I'm like, I don't get it fully." And I'm sure, so yeah, I'm curious to learn more about.
Well, like with gene keys, you look at your chart and there's the four outer circles and there's shadows in there. And if you're involved in a shadow space, check out if you're in the other shadows and then try to find balance of it. I find that gene keys is a great place to flow into for people that are processing through psychedelic or expanded experiences. Like Kundalini yoga is an expanded experience.
Yeah.
And then how do you integrate the messages that came up in your body and your mind and your soul, like whatever? And
Mhm.
that's where I think Gene Keys gives you the way to think about it, possible way. And then human design gives you the structure of why it might be that way.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. We should probably like you should do a whole nother talk on human design and Gene Keys, but like in your let me see where it was. I'm trying to find your text message. See, when I'm like doing a podcast, like everybody texts me and I'm like, just you have, I don't even know where you have the, I'll just look it up real quick. You want me to share my screen?
Sure.
Oops. So when you have like connected channels, the red and the black, like
Mhm.
design and personality.
Yeah.
So you have this 3740 channel between solar plexus and heart.
Okay.
And that is the channel of community, embodying the spirit of connection, support, and emotional investment.
Wow. Okay.
And so HeartShine Alchemy is very much like that. It's like
Gosh.
community, like with the tribe and getting people together.
Yep, totally. Wow, that's so cool. Oh my gosh.
And then like I looked like really quick at it, but
Yeah. Is your series, workshop series, is it going to be like everyone diving into their own, or is it just like an overview? Is it like what's your vision on?
I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm probably going to call some people on stage and look through theirs
Okay.
and then go from there.
Yeah.
You also have from your sacral to your solar plexus, you have this 59-6 channel. It's
Okay.
the channel of intimacy. So
Mm.
it's the channel of trusting relationships, building fertility in all senses, like getting women connected with their fertility and their sacral energy. And fertility can mean just, it doesn't have to be making a baby. It could
Right.
also mean like creating an environment for others to have babies. It could be creating an environment like a classroom. It could be creating an environment for artwork, creativity, and flow. And artwork can look totally different. Some of my artwork that I realized is the way I flow through information. That's some of
Yeah.
my artwork and how I connect people to stuff and move through it. And then I saw the gate also is like sexual creativity, channels of mating, like you're teaching people how to connect with themselves so they
Yeah.
can connect with others. And
Yeah.
that
Gosh.
just I just looked at
That's
these really
so
quick.
crazy because I literally say that all the time. You got to connect with yourself, and then next comes connection with each other, and then it's like connection with
Then
nature, connection with spirit. That's
I
awesome.
only looked up your completed gates, but the 515 is from your sacral energy to like your self center.
Oh, okay.
And so in that channel is like the channel of rhythm.
Mm,
So it's like the expression of sacral life force. How you connect with others, how do you connect with yourself, how do you connect with women? What's the phases? What's the rhythm of it? Can you take a deep breath? Can you slow down for a second? And so when I looked up these channels real quick, I was like, oh, and then I heard you talk. I was like, yep,
that's so
That
fascinating.
was that was what was coming to me when I was looking at it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know you could. Why did I not know that you could Google those channels? That's so cool. That's
You can also play around in Chat GPT with it.
oh, okay.
Like you can upload a picture of your chart in Chat GPT and then start asking about the channels. I've found that sometimes it's wrong. So you have to like maybe reflect back to your book, reflect to the Gene Key book. One of my friends wrote a Chat GPT, custom GPT for numerology that tries to meet you at one level higher than your current understanding. And it was wild to watch people like flow through it. And I was like, okay, then there's something there.
Yeah,
I
that's
was gonna say something, but I forgot. Oh, do you have the book Metaphysical Anatomy?
sure do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this one, that rose.
Yes,
I
perfect.
love that one.
Yeah, I know Yumaya has her book club, but I want to make a book club of more dives on this kind of stuff. Because like you could spend years working through this stuff.
Yep.
And just recently, Shelley got me connected with a woman who does human design based, and she looks up your sleep design chart and sees how you sleep so you can optimize your sleep cycle. And then she also does reports on what gates and vulnerabilities you have with amino acids based on your genetics and the human design. So I just signed up to work with her because we're talking about how can we match that channeled information with the hair follicle testing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so this is opening up like a really neat business opportunity of the science and the woo meeting together. Because a
Cool.
lot of people that come to her, like, my doctors can't figure out what's wrong with me. All
Mhm.
my tests look good, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, check here and here. And then now with hair follicle testing, which doctors never really order, now it's okay, let's put the pieces together to figure out what works for you uniquely as you.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of neat things coming up.
so fascinating.
Also, like in human design, I looked Marine, I connected with the goddess festival lady. The Marine came all the way out from Sedona. She's a former Chicago PD police officer.
Wow.
She does human design and gene keys. And she was reading my chart again. She's, oh, your body is a projector. And I was like, okay, not that it's like the end all be all, but then I can see why deeply in empathy, why I can see where people are stuck and how they can get through the stuckness and how they can get to where they really want to go
Mhm.
if they're ready for that. It's like, how deeply do you want to, can you meet yourself?
Mhm.
And that's why I think sometimes people get a little scared of my energies because I see it and I'm
Uh,
ready for
like,
it.
whoa, you can't stop. Yeah, they're not
But
ready.
also, that's where that 2-4 energy comes in too. Of I can't go for every opportunity. Not everyone should have access to that energy,
Mhm.
and I need time to have a break for me. Like I work hard and I work fast, but
Mhm.
when I want to take a break, I take a break. Like boundary, like big time boundaries come up or
Mhm.
whatever. And like I was at like a I was at like one of those, I don't know, energy reading shop places with Marine and Shelly and some others. And I didn't know if I felt totally comfortable or not. And Marine said she looked back at me and it looked like I was like stoned.
Wow.
I was like, I could see how that, like, I protect myself when I'm like, and,
Not.
and I, yeah. And I think that's, in our charts, I don't know if you've overlaid your chart with your partner, but I've overlaid mine with Shelly. In our heart centers, we have no connections on any heart center, nothing. So
Mm.
we've completed all 8 other parts, but our hearts are completely open. And so now what's coming up for us is if we do stuff that our hearts both really want to do, we can create some amazing things really fast.
Mhm.
Part of that is the learning is for me to be fully in my heart and for her to be fully in her heart and do it together because we don't have that heart channel, any
Mhm.
of. So it's Shelly feeling safe or not in her mind. And like her shadow and life work in Gene Keys is psychosis. And it's like, how does she feel safe in her body? Like kind of the work you're doing is like, how do you feel safe in your body? How do you get out of your mind and into your body? And like being a fat girl as a kid,
Mhm.
like not being in your, that's disconnect you with medicine, disconnect you with overeating, disconnect you with whatever. And so now it's like, bringing that all together where she feels safe, where I feel safe, so we can create some amazing stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I've never thought to do that. I'll have to do that after
then
this.
we overlaid our sleeping charts. Vicky helped us with that. And I guess my aura in sleeping is like really powerful and I should sleep alone. And then it also, my aura could inflame Shelley's gates of fear and shit like that. And I was like, and that was interesting because years ago I bought a split king bed thinking like if she wants to be up, she could tilt it or read or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And Vicky was like, maybe that was your body saying, yeah, let's make a little sleep distance. Like
Yeah.
she might. And so our bodies know this information. It's just our head is often very disconnected from this info. But
Exactly.
all this stuff is just the science and the woo coming together being the same. And it's just, whoa.
So it's such a fascinating time to be alive. Like all the
Yeah.
things, like you said, the science and the woo, it's all coming together where we can like understand it and it's like mind blowing.
By the
What
way, this part will make some amazing reels. It's a little off topic of the Stockton Holistic Chamber, but this is we find when we film podcasts, often at the end is the real fucking conversation. I could probably go another 10 minutes or so if you have anything you really want to say. Like just riff because we could pull it out with AI.
my gosh. Now that let's see, what do I want to say? Like now the channel shut down.
It's okay. We can do it now that
Um,
we need to.
no, it's okay. I just need to get back in the flow here. It's like when you put the pressure on, it's like we were just like going, but then it's, oh, do you want to say something? And I'm like,
Yeah, I know, right? Creating community and understanding and getting
hmm,
people connected. And I've been in a lot of, since psychedelics, I've been in a lot of healing containers with Shelly, with lots of other women. And women are doing the work of trying to figure it out. And like men are like really stuck. And some people are like, if women can get reconnected to their femininity, then
yeah.
guys will see that and they'll be able to step back into their masculinity and
Mhm.
at the same time like a lot of men are very confused on what women want. So
Mhm.
if women get connected with themselves and they know what they want, then men know how to respond to what the women are wanting.
Yeah.
And that's part of what happened in society is if you disconnect people, you can control them really easy.
Yep.
And so that's why I see my work of I think it was in like an expanded state, maybe it was in I'll have psychedelic like states in
Mhm.
acupuncture, like
Yes.
once or in breath work or like hot yoga, like
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I got this message that like I'm here to wake up a lot of people. And I got the chills when I told you that right now. Because in my gene keys, it says my life's work is quintessence, like just embodiment of me. Yeah.
Yeah. Full body chills there
Okay.
too. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then, oh, I guess my camera moved. Okay. And then the next part was my gift is simplicity. Breaking it down, keeping it easy. My shadow is complexity. So when I was working in all this like legal, I used to be patent agent, patent examiner, all this stuff. It's like all these like games and all this shit and manipulating things. Of course, you have to manipulate things. Look, I'm moving this cup, like it's manipulated. But at what point does it get so complicated that it's non-self theme and I'm getting frustrated? And I saw your non-self theme is also frustration. So then if you see frustration, you're like, okay, how can I jump into my gifts?
Mhm.
Like, okay, I need to be simple. I need to be understanding, I need to be like radiant, like whatever your four outer ones are,
Mhm.
and like just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love all of that. One thing you said too that I'm personally super passionate about is that we can access those psychedelic states and those expanded states of being and of mind and everything with just our own resources without any external. And I know you I love the psychedelic work that's happening out there. I think it's so beneficial for so many people. And I also have a history of addiction. Like I've been sober for 5 years, and that's just doesn't feel like something that I can have access to because I just don't want to go send myself down that path of addiction again. So when I found breath work and I felt, and actually the mind-blowing experience for me was I got to see Parangi live at in a really intimate setting. It was a really small group. And Parangi, I don't know if you're familiar with him, musician. He plays I don't all kinds of different indigenous instruments and just creates this whole entire sound experience. And so he took us on this journey. It was about like an hour long through the different elements, through the four elements, through music, through sound. And his partner, she sings, and all of these instruments. Anyway, it was like an ecstatic dance movement experience. And I literally felt like I was on ecstasy. Like I remember my days back at raves and stuff and like popping pills. And I literally felt like I was in that state. And I'm like, I did nothing except dance and just be my fullest expression. And that just blew my mind that I can actually access like an expansive state like that with literally my body's own tools.
Yeah, your body knows how to make those psychedelic compounds. You can release and make DMT through breath work, through activating the pineal gland. Your body has morphine on board. Your body knows how to release it. Also, we are very related to fungi.
Yes.
Like our bodies,
Are mostly fungi, aren't we? And bacteria and
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
So we know how to make it.
Mhm.
We've just forgotten how. And
Mhm.
so like when we go into breath work or expanded states, our body like can be reminded how to make it. So like after I did psychedelics, then I did acupuncture and I was like, this is like a very similar experience. And I talked to the acupuncturist that's in our group, and I've only had a couple people ever say that. Like they felt like a psychedelic like experience. But like most people might just feel the needles and just relax. But the universe meets you at the level that you're at, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
one of the Condor approach to psychedelic integration just met like a week or two ago, and one of the guys there had said that the when you take mushrooms that contain psilocybin, they've been around for a billion years. They triage you of what you need and what your nervous system and what your physiological system can handle, and they give it to you. And so when people say that there's bad trips, it's no, that was a trip for you.
Mhm.
And it's, but like Shelley had dealt with addiction also with like food, pills, alcohol, sex, other things too. And it's like, what does that look like going forward? And now, like, she uses cannabis to help her with just chilling out and getting back into her body and getting out of her mind. So it's like, because for a while I was like, is she going down the path of addiction again? And it's just something different. Or is she really utilizing it for utilizing it?
Yeah.
And at some point, she's like, we did the 420 Fest in Stockton and we made the conscious cannabis journal and stuff.
Okay.
And then like a couple months later, she's like, I was like avoiding the work. I was just escaping. And now I'm like using cannabis. I'm utilizing cannabis. I'm not letting cannabis use me. And it's like the awareness of it and utilizing it to see some shadows or inner child work that needs a little tender loving care. And can you approach that with a little more kindness?
Mhm.
And so like I think that sometimes it's important to look at that too. In
Mhm.
your gene keys, do you have any of the CDs or any of the circles that show addiction?
Oh, I don't think so. But
Yeah, maybe take a look sometime. And then like with the book, it's so much information. How
Mhm.
I use it for Gene Keys is if some situation comes up and I feel the shadow, I go look up that number
Uh-huh.
and then I read it and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I read through it and then I think about it and I put it down.
Mhm.
So I read it like a reference book.
Right. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's so cool.
But
Yeah.
like at the same time, it's if you have feelings that you could go down that path, it's like being like being aware of the ask of it and then asking yourself, is it really that path or is it like I'm doing, but why am I doing it? What's my intention behind it? If your intention behind it is to escape, it's what are you escaping from? Or why are you doing it? Or why did you do it before? And how can you love that version of Jennifer that was doing it before? And
Yeah.
then be like, wait, I see why. Now if you did it again, you're like, your intention would be totally different because it's possible that it's different or some people have no intention.
Totally. Yeah, I think there's definitely some stuff to explore there because it's a overwhelming fear in my body that I will go. I literally do not think there is a chance that I will ever go back down that path again, but there is such a fear in my body of that happening. And mostly like I have dreams all the time that I start drinking or doing drugs or whatever again and I wake up and I'm like in a panic and I'm like, "Oh my God, did I actually do that? Did it?" And I just get in this total fear state of, oh my God. So there's a lot of fear, and I'm sure there's a lot of shadow stuff to work through there of accepting my past, accepting that version of me, loving that version of me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Well,
for me is
I'm
like,
not I'm not trying to convince you to either
yeah,
to do
yeah. No, no, no,
either.
totally.
I'm
I
just saying like, can you look at that in a way where it doesn't even make you feel that could even happen again?
exactly. Yep.
And it's just that's interesting about the dreams coming up like that. I wonder if something's coming up in your sleep space. Like Vicky does those sleep design charts, which was interesting because
Never heard of that until you said,
she's, she says like you're being bombarded with neutrinos all the time, like from the cosmos.
mhm.
And sometimes your dream state will reprogram you into being something. And she made this post the other day that a lot of people are actually reflectors in the dream space. They're just coming back into the live space. And since they immediately open up Facebook in the morning, they're reflecting everything instead of being sovereign in themselves. And I was like, ooh, I think there's something here. So,
Mhm. Wow, that's
so
it.
what's your sleep state? What's your partner's sleep state?
Mhm.
What's coming up in your dreams? Is it self theme or non self theme in your dreams? She did a class recently when talking about Andrew Huberman
Okay.
and how his sleep chart, there was like a lot of sex and addiction and stuff coming up that was he was acting out in like real life. Then
Mhm.
it like came out in the news and all this stuff of I don't remember exactly all the things, but it was stuff like that. It was like that's not even really him. That was
Mhm.
he needed to do the work in the real life to avoid getting programmed in the dream state.
Oh, wow.
You know, some next level shit.
That is some next level shit for sure. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, there's so many rabbit holes we could go down.
Yeah, and it's what rabbit holes are authentically ours.
Yep. What rabbit holes are we meant to go down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was really like really nice and
Dang. Yeah.
to like kind of chill and debrief a little bit.
Yep. Yep. Totally.
Did you, I think you can handle conversations like this. I think also like you did great on the podcast and like it had a nice flow to it. It's the first one. There's probably some spots where I probably could have been like more like directed with questions or jump in a little quicker. But I think, do you think that format would be good for like most of the other members?
I I think so. that's the kind of podcast I love listening to, is like a
Okay.
conversation. Like that, most of the podcasts I listen to are like they're like have a guest on, but it is more conversational and more flowy and just, hey, where is this? Where is this? Go down the rabbit holes or whatever and just flow with it. So I guess I love that type of a format. It just felt natural. It feels like maybe I think we both went into it with a bit of setting an intention, knowing where generally we want to go with it, and then in just letting it flow. Like I thought it was great.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, because I want to like streamline it and help people get connected. And I
Yeah.
think like the main chapter and other chapters are going to see what we're doing, and they're all going to want to they're going to want to do it too.
Yeah, totally. Yep, yep. I love that. I love that so the lady who literally originally came up with the holistic Chamber of Commerce lives in Pasadena. Like she's
Correct. Yeah.
founder. Okay, wow, that's so cool. And
There's 1,500 members and chapters in various states. And I don't think there's one in Portland, and I don't think there's one, but there's members in Portland. And like one of my friend Dice lives up there, and I'm like, you should set that up and then use it as framework to get people together.
yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I think I haven't been to any other chapters or I don't know what they're doing like in other states and stuff, but I think what's being co-created here is really unique and it's really cool. Like it
Yeah.
has such a open and like welcoming and collaborative vibe. Like you said, I literally feel zero competition from anyone that's ever
Right.
I've
Like,
that's what I loved about the first meeting. I was like, oh, yes, this is a community I want to tap into because it just felt so welcoming. And it wasn't like the regular chamber where it's like only one person is allowed in each category of business or
yeah.
whatever. It's like, everybody come and let's just be with each other and co-create and collaborate.
Rocio and John are joined. Rocio has an IV business in town. I think she's an NP or a PA. So she does like Botox and IVs and this and that. And she's starting to dabble into helping people with hormones and stuff. I was like, okay. And then John's trying to go to school for psychiatry or something. And then they're setting up a red light therapy thing on Miracle Mile. And I'm like, okay, how do we get this all together? How do we like work together and enjoy it with other holistic members? Like I want to have people offer like discounts to holistic members to like try to
Yeah.
encourage like working together. I
Mhm.
want to have like people do bundles together, getting that
Yeah.
going. And then also then I want to do those excursions. Like, dude, renting out that place in Elk Grove, like that would be like fucking badass.
Yeah, totally. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I have going on this weekend. I think I'm free, but I might come check out where I've been wanting to meet Paige too and I haven't been to her new location. I've never met her, but I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Yeah. And doesn't she have a space in the back where she
Yeah.
does Reiki and everything? Is that a space where people
That's
can
where we're
come
gonna
in?
meet right there.
Okay. So,
Uh,
so that is a space does she rent it out or is that a
she
space?
rents the whole building right there.
Okay. Does she rent that space, that little backspace out to other people? Could I rent that space to hold a women's circle or something like that?
Yeah,
Or
you could talk to her about that.
yeah, I was curious to find out more about that.
She wants to do more stuff, so she's in the mode of like she posted on Dragon Fairy Instagram like an upcoming calendar and upcoming
I saw that.
events, and I
Yep.
think she
Mhm.
yeah, and like I can connect you with her,
Yeah.
or you could come on Saturday and just talk to her too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would love to meet her.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think she's into that. She's a woman, she's a mom, she's a
Good.
business owner. She's got a storefront. She also is a promoter for like clubs in Sacramento.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so with her too, I'm like, I've been talking to her. I'm like, I haven't talked to her about the Elk Grove thing, but she could probably get people to come too. And it's like
Okay.
just healers and spiritual and like the intersection of science and woo coming together and talking about nerve system regulation, talking about physiology, talking about moving your body, like getting it all connected. Like I think that would be a badass event.
Oh my gosh, I'm so there. I am, yeah.
I'm gonna find pictures and send it to you because it's
Yeah.
like, damn, this is for real.
Yep. Amazing. Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
We'll have a great rest of the
But
day. Like,
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this. This was so much fun. I love spending time
me
with you.
too. Yeah, definitely eat, integrate.
Yep, nourishment. Yep, get out in the sun, get some
Yeah,
nature.
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna let this recording process and then I'll play around with it and I'll publish it unlisted so you can look through it and then I'll start clipping it into reels and stuff.
Cool, cool.
I think there's a
Awesome.
lot there.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of juice there for sure.
All right, cool. Thank you
All
again
right.
for doing this. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you. Thank you so much. Have an
Okay.
amazing day. We'll see you
You
soon.
too.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.